The if function is one of the most popular functions in Excel, and it allows you to make logical comparisons between a value and what you expect. So an if statement can have two results. The first result is if your comparison is true. The second result is if your comparison is false. In other words, the if function checks whether a condition is met and returns a value if true and another value if false. On our screen here is a data that wants to display yes if the price is above 500, otherwise no. So in order to use the if function to achieve this, you start with what? Equal to if, right? Then the logical test is if this particular cell A2 or any other value that is in cell A2 is greater than 500, that is what they mean by above 500, it should display what? Yes. So ideally, the yes should be in speech marks or in double quotes. Is that right? Because Excel does not actually understand normal letters if you just type it like that. So you include it within speech marks. So the value if false in this case is what? It should display no. So make sure that your no is in speech mark in order not to get any error. So using the if function is as easy as this. Then you now close up your bracket and hit what? Enter. Now, what did you notice? So I'm just going to copy this painter and drag down. Is that okay? You notice that this says what? Yes, because the price is above what? 500. Now, since Excel can be used for data modeling, you can easily change this value to see what happens. Supposing it's less than 500, you see that it's what? No. So from here, you can easily replicate down. I notice that it's actually obeying our if statement. Is okay? So you have here is no, yes, above 500 definitely, no, no, yes. So this is how easy it is to use the if function. Now the next example that we're going to look at to better understand what the if function does is looking at this budget schedule, and we are to determine if amount spent is over budget or within budget. So how do we know if amount spent is over budget? If the actual spend is greater than the amount budgeted. Is that okay? So actual spend, if the actual spend is greater than the amount budgeted, that means the company or the individual is working on an over budget. But if it's within or less than, then you can say within budget. Is that okay? So if this cell is greater than this cell, you can say what? Over budget. Is that right? Or if this cell is less than this cell, you can say it's what? Under budget. Now let us clear this and we start the if statement. So equal to if, right? So if checks whether a condition is met and returns one value if true and another value if false. So the logical test is if this cell B2 is greater than, so this is the sign for greater than A2, is that right? Comma. Then the value if true is what? Over budget. Is that right? So over budget should be in speech marks. So over budget. So whatever I put as a value if true is for you to decide. Is that right? So after the value if true, comma, then the value if false should be under budget. Is okay? Or within budget. So let's use within budget. Alright, so close up the speech marks, then close up your if statement. How simple can this be? So this is as good as programming in Java or what have you. This is over budget because this actual spend is greater than this. Is okay? So let's replicate down or autofill to see what's happened. So for the next one is within budget because the actual spend is less than the budgeted. This one is within budget because the actual spend is less than that budgeted. So you can now see amount over. You're just subtracting this from this and you get this. So how easy can using if statement be? Is okay. So make sure to get more content like this, you subscribe to our YouTube channel. So the next thing we're going to do is to check out the third example under if function. So this one is a little bit more interesting. You have item, and we'll have lotion and cream, we'll have quantity, and we'll have cost, we have total. Is that right? So total is the quantity multiplied by the cost to give you this. Is that right? So quantity multiplied by cost to give you this. So when you add up the total, you have a subtotal. So okay, so we're going to use an if function to determine whether there will be a calculation here or not. So if this particular cell is yes, it should do a calculation by multiplying the subtotal by the sales tax, right? So that eventually you have a figure here. Then to get the actual amount to be paid is the summation of whatever is here, and you get the actual amount to be paid. How about that? So there's a formula here, there's a formula here, there are formulas here. All right, so let me just create this so that you just know that there's a formula here. All right, so to write our if statement, let's just delete this. You notice that this is adding to nothing here, that's why it's still this. So to get our if statement equal to if, okay, we want to make a logical test such that if this cell, right, is equal to, then you put the years in speech marks. Is that right? So close it up, comma. Then the value if true will be this, the subtotal multiplied by the sales tax. Is that right? Comma. Is okay? So the value if false will be what? It will just give you 0 because your value that you eventually add is nothing. Is okay? Now you close up and you hit what? Enter. Now this calculates your sales tax as what? 541.45 because the content of this cell is what? Yes. So what now happens when I change the content of this cell to some other words? So it just adds up this because there's no answer here. So what if I say no? Is that right? So it still does not. So what if my yes is small caps? Now I getting the gist. So in as much as your string is lower or higher case, it will actually recognize it. Is all right. So this is exactly how to use the Microsoft Excel if function, and it is very easy and fast. With this, I'm sure you will have armed up yourself to use the if statement in other areas of your workplace. If you have any question, go ahead to drop it in the comment section below. If there are topics that you want us to make video on, also drop it in the comment section below. Do well to subscribe to our YouTube channel. In the next video, we are going to be seeing how we can use more advanced if function, which is the nested if, and we'll be seeing how we can use it to calculate student grades as well as perform some other functions in Excel. Go ahead to watch the video on your screen now that shows you how to use Microsoft Excel VLOOKUP with drop-down list. Excel made easy.